Hello everybody, I hope you're doing great. Right, we finally made it to Antarctica after I don't know how many hurdles to get here. It's taken about 4 or 5 days to get here. We actually flew here from Puerto Arenas, took about 2-hour flight to a gravel landing strip on George Island. Now we're just taking Zodiacs and all our gear to the liner that's out there. So it's a 2-week trip. I'm really excited. The whole trip was organized by Nigel Danson. So I'm here with Nigel Danson, James Popsys and Alyn Wallace. Mads was supposed to kind of head out with us as well, but unfortunately he caught COVID at the last minute and couldn't join us. So we're really quite upset about that. But we have 35 guests. So it gets a bit of that's Alyn. And there's Nigel right there.
Doesn't get better than this.
Yeah, Nigel keeps saying it doesn't get any better than this.
Oh, this is epic. Wow.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm sort of a bit speechless, to be honest, because I feel like we'd never get here. But we did.
It's been absolute epic trying to get here.
Yeah, the most difficult trip I think I've ever done, to be honest, which is a bit bonkers. Ah, it's good though. And there's penguins.
Yeah, there's actually a couple of penguins here. Just chilling out. Yeah, that one's Nigel, and that's Mads behind.
Just gotta move that to get warm, you know.
Wow, that was quite the trip getting here. I don't think I've ever had so much, I was going to say hassle. I guess it was a hassle getting down here. Just so many COVID tests and a lot of plane transfers and dealing with paperwork that you wouldn't usually have to deal with. But anyway, I don't want to complain about that stuff because I feel really fortunate to be able to come down to Antarctica. This is a trip that Nigel Danson organized about 2 years ago, and we have a group of photographers, so it's a workshop. And there's 5 of us, as I mentioned. There's Alyn Wallace and James Popsys. There was going to be Sarah Lindsay was going to come down, but she cancelled at the last minute. And of course Mads, Peter Iverson was supposed to join us, and he got to Santiago, and unfortunately he came down with COVID, so he had to stay in Santiago. Finally on the boat. So far, I mean, I just got on the boat. It's been just an awesome experience with Aurora, and this is my cabin. It's unbelievable. I wasn't expecting this. So it looks like either queen size or king size bed, and I have a balcony which is just really unbelievable. So this is going to be quite the trip. I can see if I can open this. Oh, maybe it's locked. Let's see. I'll have to fiddle with it. Oh, maybe I can't open it right now. I have to figure it out. Well, good morning, everybody. I hope you can hear me. It's a little windy this morning, and it's the temperature. I think yesterday they said it was about 2 degrees, and it feels colder than that this morning because my hands are starting to freeze. But and the winds have picked up a little bit. But I looked out the window from my bed, and it looked like the light was getting really good. So I thought I'd better get up and just have a quick look around. There's absolutely nobody up. I'm just up here on the deck on my own. It's 4:30 in the morning, and the conditions are absolutely spectacular. We have this sea fog moving in and out of these bluffs here. This was the one that really attracted me, so I took a couple of quick shots handheld. And then over here we have more mountains and glaciers with the mist going right by. It's quite surreal actually. There are a couple of other boats here in the bay. We haven't really left the bay that we Zodiac'd out to yesterday evening. I think this morning we have to go over a few safety measures or safety protocols or whatever for the ship, and then hopefully we'll be on our way. But I mean, I guess that's the great thing about this time of year. It's summer down here, so the sun takes quite some time to come up. So the light should be good for a while. Now, in terms of camera gear for this trip, I decided right from the offset that I was going to concentrate more on the landscape than wildlife. That's not to say that I didn't shoot any wildlife, but I really wanted to take photographs of the icebergs and the mountains in the area. So with that in mind, I decided to take the GFX 100S along with a 23mm f4 lens, the 32-64 f4 lens, a 1-200 f5.6 lens, and for that extra little bit of reach, a 1.4 teleconverter. I hope you can hear me here. It's absolutely howling. We've landed on our first kind of excursion, and this is Deception Island. And I've actually been here before. I was here back in 2008, and it's pretty cool because it's like it's an old whaling station. So there's all these old buildings and old rusty containers that used to hold all the whale fat. In some ways it's quite sad because the containers are just massive, so it's just kind of boggles the mind how many whales they must have killed here. This is just one whaling station in the area, but it's pretty cool. The wind is a real problem. I do have my tripod, but it's totally useless really because everything's just getting blown over and blown away. So what I'm concentrating on are some of the patterns in the rusty old containers, some of the old buildings, and if I get a chance, there's some really great colours in the mountains there. The problem is I'd have to use a pretty long lens, and it's so windy I don't think I'd be able to get a sharp photograph, so we'll see how it goes. My group has kind of made its way back to the boat, so I'm going to go and make sure I don't lose anybody or they don't miss me, because I am actually on a workshop. Now for video and shooting out of Zodiacs, I decided to take something a little bit lighter. So I brought my Fujifilm X-T4 with a 10-24 f4 lens and a Fujifilm 55-200 f3.5 to 4.8 lens. Not only did I use the X-T4, but I also used the GFX 100S, and for a lot of the vlogging I used an Osmo Pocket 2, which I find to be an excellent camera for this type of trip. Now, I did bring a tripod. It's an FLM tripod with an FLM ball head, but I didn't actually use it that much. I did a lot of my stuff handheld. The tripod proved to be just a little bit awkward to take in the Zodiacs. I also brought Case Wolverine magnetic filters with me, and to top it all off and shove everything into a bag, I brought a Shimoda Action X 70-liter bag, which is just an excellent backpack. Now, in terms of bringing it on the plane, what I end up doing is just putting the actual backpack in my checked luggage and then taking out the cube from the inside and carrying that on the plane separately, so it's not so bulky and you don't get questioned about it, and that seemed to work out really well. Now then, as wonderful as Antarctica is, it did present one major problem, and that was, what do I point my camera at? There were just so many opportunities, and it was very easy to fall in the trap of trying to photograph everything. So what I tried to do, and what I tried to convey to all of the folk that were with us, was to try and slow down and just pick one or two subjects at a time, and then try and get the best out of those subjects. Now, that is extremely difficult to do, especially when you're bouncing around in a Zodiac with 10 other people. And that was one of the other problems that a lot of people face, is especially when you're photographing wildlife such as whales, is that the boat is always moving around, so you have to be quick on your toes, and hopefully the people in front of you will bend down low enough that you can shoot over them. And of course, the more people in a boat, the harder it was to take photographs of wildlife. Throughout this trip, I took quite a bit of video, but I didn't do a lot of vlogging. So what I'd like to do for the end of this video is just leave you with some select images taken in the first half of the trip to Antarctica. Thank you ever so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Please be sure to leave me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and be sure to stay tuned for next week's video where we continue our trip down the Antarctic Peninsula.